Hey everybody, here's a great video for you about physical condition. And what I want you to understand is that you should always be in a state of understanding where you're at with your physical condition and your recovery. Now, we've spoken about different recovery techniques that you can use over the last few weeks. Today I just want to let you know about how different ways in which you can measure where you are exactly in terms of your physical condition and your recovery. Now, this is something you need to start recording and you need to start rating. That's something we help you with within the Tribal Triathlete members area, because what you want to build up is a real trend for how you feel. And then once you start to spot certain trends, what happens to your condition, your recovery after certain sessions or after a certain amount of time of training in a certain way, you start to really learn about your body, and then you start to make great decisions about what you need to do next. Whether you're going to train or whether you're going to take a rest. And that's the key thing here, is for you to understand, to increase your perception of exactly how you feel. Now, there's two ways in which you can monitor your physical condition and your recovery. We've got both objective data and subjective data. Now, with the subjective, again, it's down to how you feel. It's kind of a gut feeling for what's going on. But if you start to do this regularly, you'll start to recognise different levels of all these things. So you know what's good and you know what's bad. And you know what's indifferent or in the middle. And it's when something in here changes that you're able to react to make a better decision about whether you need to train or not. Now, these subjective data could be anything from sleep quality to your fatigue rating to a soreness rating as well. Maybe your stress perception. Obviously, we know as stress goes up, probably training should kind of just go down slightly just to balance that out, or the training should maybe become slightly different. So instead of like a real hard session, maybe you need to practice some yoga or Tai Chi or something like that to help with your stress levels. And lastly, just your illness, which could be just a yes or a no, but it might be just that you're starting to feel a slight tickle. Something just going on in your throat you're not quite sure about. What do you do then? Well, if you kind of continue to record your data to spot trends, you're going to be able to make a better decision about whether you should just rest or you should continue training. Now, with the objective data, this is something you can put a definite number on. We can look at sleep quantity. What time did you go to sleep? What time did you wake up? How many hours did you accrue? In one of the last videos from earlier in the week, we spoke about that target of 8 to 9 hours a night is critical for your performance and you as an athlete, and then your hydration as well. So not necessarily in terms of how much water you've drunk, that's great to record, but in terms of you can measure this in an objective way by looking at the colour of your urine first thing in the morning. Now, there's hydration charts within the Tribal Triathlete members area, but also you can find those online, and they'll give you a nice kind of a rating of your hydration level. Obviously, the more dehydrated you are, the more swayed you're going to be to saying, no, I shouldn't train, I should be sorting out my hydration first, and then once I've sorted that out, then maybe I can start training again afterwards. And lastly, this is an interesting one, HRV. HRV stands for heart rate variability. And now, I'm sure you've heard of before measuring your resting heart rate as a way of adding into this data. So a low resting heart rate suggests that you're quite calm, a higher heart rate suggests that your body's still working. Well, HRV takes this a step further, and it actually measures the space in between each one of your heartbeats. And it can tell which strand of your nervous system is dominant. So if your sympathetic nervous system is dominant, or you've got a dominant fight or flight system, then the space between each of your heartbeats will be really regular and uniform. So if you're 60 beats per minute, you might find that the space between each beat will be bang on 1 second. Now, that's a good indicator that you're overstimulated with your sympathetic nervous system, and you probably shouldn't add more stress in. Alternatively, if your heart rate variability is nice and chaotic, that's what we want. So that would suggest that your parasympathetic is healthy and dominant, and therefore you're in a nicely rested state, ready to go and stress your body out with a little bit more training. The other thing this measures is like the power of your parasympathetic nervous system through the tone of your vagus nerve, and that's something that we'd have to go into more detail into in the members area. But this is a great tool for getting objective data, for spotting trends about how your body's reacting to the training that you're doing. So anyway, this is how we measure physical condition at Tribal Triathlete. I'd love to show you more on the inside. Why don't you come and join us, join the tribe, and I'll fill you up with great information regarding how to measure your physical condition and how to make better decisions about whether you should be training or not. I hope you have a great weekend of training, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.